Dear sisters and brothers in Jesus Christ, on this solemnity of Easter, celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, we are celebrating the new creation. Jesus Christ, first of all creatures and new Adam, conquered death, which held him captive in the tomb by stone and burial clothes. However, the Gospel makes us contemplate the emptiness of the open tomb and the folded burial clothes. Yet, the evangelist John says about the disciple whom Jesus loved, "He saw and he believed." It was not the risen one that the beloved disciple saw, but rather the traces of his absence. His body is no longer there. The disciple who arrived before Peter saw it and nothing happened. But later, when he enters the tomb, he sees and the miracle happens. He believes. He is touched by the grace of faith. He understands that Jesus was not kidnapped, that he did not disappear, that his body was not stolen. He knows that Jesus is alive. His presence is no longer to be sought in a tomb or around the tomb. He is there present. The disciple can experience this presence. He can feel deep within himself that Jesus is there. The disciple comes into contact with Christ. He sees beyond these burial clothes. These clothes become the sign of the resurrection. He is already in the joy of the encounter with the resurrected one that others cannot yet experience. Dear friends, if we celebrate Easter, we celebrate this joy of having seen the risen one. In our examination of conscience, we can ask ourselves, do we see Christ? Mary Magdalene, Peter and John, who are mentioned in the Gospel, the other apostles, women who came to the tomb, the disciples of Emmaus, and more than 500 brothers, and also later Saint Paul, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 15:6, testify to this event that changes the world. Jesus, who died on the cross, was raised from the tomb by his Father, who made him Lord over the entire universe and over all living beings. According to the expression of Father Teilhard de Chardin, Jesus becomes the omega point which attracts everything to itself and through which all creation joins God the Father. The three words, newness, joy, and hope, could characterize the Easter celebration which begins today and which continues on the following Sundays until the Feast of the Ascension. Let us reflect first the word newness. In the northern hemisphere, Easter coincides with the start of spring. Easter is associated with newness, new life. At the end of a sometimes harsh winter, Easter marks the start of a new season. Flowers are appearing. What an extraordinary novelty! Death and life are reconciled. A new life appears. A life for God, as St. Paul says in Romans chapter 6:10. The second word is joy. The joy of Easter is a profound joy that touches the whole being. It is not just a passing emotion. It is a way of being. One could say a state of joy. The joy of Easter radiates the life of baptized people. It is a joy which has overcome doubt and which is lived without fear because it has found the basis on the resurrection of Jesus. The liturgical text of Easter season burst forth emphatically by repeating hallelujahs at all times. This exclamation of hallelujah, which is typical of the Easter season, expresses the joy of sons and daughters of God, reborn of water and the Spirit. The third word that we can reflect is hope. Easter is the celebration of hope. Without this virtue of hope, our faith is incomplete. Pope Francis describes this hope in his apostolic exhortation, the joy of the gospel. The resurrection of Christ produces everywhere the seeds of this new world, and even if they were to be pruned, they grow again. Because the resurrection of the Lord has already penetrated the hidden plot of this story. Because Jesus was not resurrected for nothing. Let us not remain in the sidelines of this path of living hope. We read in the Joy of the Gospel number 278. Dear friends, let us ask the Lord for the grace to see Him in our lives so that the graces of His resurrection may abound on us and transform us for the greater glory of God and the salvation of the world. Christians all over the world today joyfully say, "The Lord is risen, He is truly risen." Let us not get tired to proclaim this message of joy and hope in our own lives and in our world. I wish you all a happy Easter. God bless you.